Yo, it's Vincent Powell. I'm a professor, filmmaker, director, writer, producer, all those things. This is my field. I eat, sleep, and breathe this thing. Usually I come on here to talk to creatives about how to stay creative amidst the world falling apart. But today, I really want to talk to the people that aren't about why Sinners is taking over the conversation. I'm in here in the lab. My boy Dave's over there editing some stuff right now. David, wave at the people. There he is. So I'm about to go back and see Sinners in a few moments in IMAX one more time before it leaves IMAX next week here in Houston. And I thought about a few things that I wanted to touch on. Number one being why Sinners is making such an impact, right? Number one, and I want to do this over a series of conversations. At first I was going to try to get them into like real size and keep it short, but whatever. This is an original movie. It's shot in IMAX. It's black written, black directed, black led. Those last three are very rare in Hollywood to begin with, let alone to have a budget of like $90 million on an original idea. That means that the IP or the intellectual property does not exist anywhere else in the world. This is not based off of a podcast or a video game or a book or a news article or a comic. This is based on whatever was living in Ryan Coogler's head that he originally contributed to the page. Usually studios go very slim on budget for those kinds of movies because they're all risk, because there's no real appetite that they can gauge in the audience, so they can't prove an ROI before they go to distribution or exhibition. That's the rare part, number one. Number two, we've got a storyline that is intrinsic, where like Misha Green in Lovecraft Country, which was based off of a book, right? And nothing against movies or TV shows that are based on other IP. That is totally fine to imagine a world. There would be no Game of Thrones, there would be no Harry Potter without the original book, Twilight, so on and so forth. But when Misha Green develops Lovecraft Country, and this idea of racism as a monster comes into the popular conversation, it really took us all by storm because of how amazingly accurate the feeling of it was, and how those of us in minority spaces identify with the things that we can't combat with just natural resources, right? It gave us another escapist imagination of how to approach the thought and wrap our heads around this idea. And in an age of the death of DEI, where we're not talking about diversity, equity, inclusion in positive light anymore, and there's more of a proponent for it to be killed than it to be resurrected, it's important for us to know how to frame racism and the idea of blacks in America, and the idea of American institutions that are all rooted and connected to my ancestors having no say-so over their own bodies. So in the movie, which is post-Civil War, we're in the 1920s, 1930s, and we're in Mississippi, we're in the Delta, we're in the South, which is another part. And this is why shows like Queen Sugar work so well, because it explores the South where other people ran away from it and didn't know how to approach it. Ava DuVernay comes with Queen Sugar and approaches the idea of a family inheriting a sugar, or yes, the kids inheriting this sugar cane field and keeping the family cultures alive amidst political and industrial forces that would try to minimize their role, their space, and their ownership. Which brings us to Sinners, where the story is surrounding ownership, not just of a physical space, but also of our own bodies. The subtext in it is glorious. The title is Sinners, and it's making people that are super religious upset. And I've said to people, I'm a Christian, I practice, I'm an ordained minister, I've been a preacher since I was 15 years old. I do not shun away from my Christian background, but I don't force it on anyone, right? I believe that Christ was easy. I believe that his burden is light. And I believe that he welcomes people to come to him, and he doesn't force anything on anybody. While I do believe in certain parameters of Christianity, I don't believe politically, socially, culturally, that any of it should be forced on anyone. right? Scriptures to back it up. I don't feel like getting into this theological thing, but there are a lot of Christians that are like, oh my God, Vincent, why are you seeing Sinners? Why should I go watch Sinners? I don't know if I get. If your spirit and your conscience can't handle it, don't go. If you don't like it, click not interested when it's coming up in your explore page. If you want to stay away from it, unfollow. Not just me, but anybody talking about it. But this story is not going away, because outside of the originality, outside of the plot itself, also the marketing of this. You don't see this level of marketing on original stories. They're everywhere. Ryan, Michael, and the whole cast. Then Ryan works this deal, which I'm gonna just call the Quentin Tarantino. Ryan worked out a deal with WB where in 25 years he now owns Sinners full out. This is what most recently Quentin Tarantino did with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood a few years ago. This isn't something that black people get to do. The studio makes the film, the studio owns the film. This is why Tyler Perry is, amazing in the ethos where he lives, is that he has his own studio that owns the rights and the distribution and the exhibition of all of that. Ryan had Final Cut. Directors, fight for Final Cut. Tarantino, Spike Lee, Scorsese, these kind of people have always had it, right? But that's an earned thing, because if it's a studio film, the studio gets last say. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch Seth Rogen and that team in Apple TV's The Studio. Is giving a perfect lens and foray into how this stuff works behind the scenes. When the directors don't have power, the writers don't have power, the actors don't have power, everyone is working inside of a bubble that was really built by a committee in a boardroom, worried about shareholders and their profit, and not worried about the potential of the story to, connect with audiences. So for Ryan to be able to say in 25 years, and that's not a random number, in 25 years for Ryan Coogler to be able to re-release, Blu-ray, whatever exists in 25 years, I don't know. X-ray, I don't know. To be able to re-release it with commentary that he's withheld, BTS that Warner Brothers does not have access to, and recompile it and let us see whatever the man plans to do. This is rare. All of those things are reverberating. But the thing that reverberates with me the most as a black man from the South, from religious spaces as a Christian, from the story space, and a personal anecdote of Ryan Coogler being the reason I went to USC and got a Master's of Fine Arts in television and film production at the School of Cinematic Arts, where Ryan was a student, and he made his film Fig that set him on a trajectory to make Fruitville Station. And after I saw Fruitville Station, I put in my application for USC, because as a black man, I saw a black man making stories about black people that I could connect with. So if that's my ball, my world, my pool, my pond, to see a movie like Sinners is amazing. I wrote an original piece at USC, ironically, a short film called Witness Marks. And originally the film was this high-level thriller about some stuff happening in the South, in Louisiana, with a set of siblings. And it's Jumanji meets Skeleton Key meets Queen Sugar, if you will, right? I love this story. I developed it into a feature length, but the one I shot, I didn't have the budget, so we shot it as just a drama. And that's what I ended up turning in for my second year project, or my second semester project. Sitting in the theater to watch Sinners and noticing the palpable response people are having about a story they know nothing about, set in the South, with mystery, with thriller, with a little bit of horror, with lore, with religious elements, whether phobic, anti, or pro. My mind was blown, moved to like chills on my body, because Marianne Williamson said it best, even though I don't agree with her platform she ran with when she ran for president. The poem always sticks with me when she says, our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate, but that we're powerful beyond measure. A few lines down, she says that as we're liberated, we unconsciously give other people permission to be liberated as well. And what Sinners has done is liberated storytellers, not just filmmakers, but artists, visual artists, recording artists, stage play actors, film actors, writers, producers, athletes, entrepreneurs, people that just needed to escape something. Sinners was that. And I think the title is bothering people. I think the concept of vampires is bothering people and so on and so forth. But the big point is that this kid from Oakland that keeps outdoing himself to the point where now his box office return and Quentin Tarantino's box office return are tied up. And I appreciate Franklin Leonard for posting that. They're both at $1.2 billion worldwide. Ryan Coogler should be in the same conversations as Quentin and all the others. And I think the offense is that he is. And many people still don't want him to have property in that conversation. But here we are. So yeah, first video of a few about Sinners. I want to dive into some of the historical elements. I want to dive, of course, into the production elements. But for a second, I just want to talk about why culturally it's having this response, for those of you that are confused or wondering. And then also, really quickly, the whole idea about 70 millimeter, about IMAX, about DCP, about 4DX, about 40, and all the different formats that are available for the film. I just want to show you an image really quickly that explains why people are so crunk about it. I dated myself, but more real estate happens, and you can't talk about this without talking about cameras. And Ryan did a great job talking about the film elements of it, but it also relates to sensor size, and that was a part that I think people are missing, is that in order for those big pieces of film to exist, the sensor of it are so big, and the IMAX is a really loud camera. Have you ever heard of IMAX before? Take a listen to this. So the question becomes, how did they shoot audio while that noise is going? We'll talk about that in another episode, but I want to just show you that and let you hear that for a second to understand the dynamics and why he's doing it. And this is why Christopher Nolan was being worshipped for Oppenheimer, and for doing it in black and white, and for Dunkirk, and all those things, and Interstellar, right? And now Ryan has entered the conversation, which hasn't really happened before, and I'm really grateful as a director, DP, writer, producer myself, who loves gear, loves sensors, love format conversations, to have all this in the forefront right now, to have everybody be talking about film right now, to have everyone be talking about content, subjectivity, objectivity, tonality, sender, receiver, all these things as a professor that I teach about in the School of Communication at Texas University, that I've learned about, that I've written about. It's so amazing that I can't contain it. And I keep telling my friends, like, I start sweating when I think about Sinners. I start shaking. Like, it literally is one of the best things that's happened in my creative life in years, that has given me a spark to just kind of pursue some of the things. Literally, I opened up 5 folders I hadn't touched in years, since 2020, 2019, that were stories that, you know, after the black squares were gone, no one would care about. Disney was rejecting pitches, other people were rejecting pitches, and now I'm calling friends, calling, you know, my writing partner, my producing partners, hey, I think we have an opportunity to do something really special, and it's because of a movie like Sinners. Anyway, I'll talk to you soon. Follow me on social, like, share, subscribe, all that important stuff, and I'll be back with some other good, juicy things about Sinners.